So today we'll be talking to Timothy about finances. But I have a little thing to tell you. Have you ever put a tree in the ground? And if you're in the Caribbean and you plant that tree, right? Regardless to where you are, that tree in the next probably 10 years is gonna give you shade. And then 10 years or even 5 years, let's say 5 years, 5 years that tree is going to grow up to be a big girl tree and she give you all kind of shades. And then one day you suddenly look around and you're seeing fruits and you say, what kind of tree is that? And then you look on the tree and you see gospel because you're accustomed seeing orange and grapefruit and limes and different things. And you see a gospel on that tree and you say, so that's how a gospel tree look. Oh my gosh, it's big. So it give you the shade. It also grow, the trunk is either big and fat or thin like this, but it give you shade. I say all that to say if we don't do what we got to do with our finances, our children would not come out to be the one that would give us that beautiful shade. You may go to the nursing home and you get other children to look after you. Well, just as the other children is going to look after you, their parents had planted that tree, and that tree come out to be a nice gospel tree, give you a beautiful juice to drink. It's so much healthier than an orange. And then you say, well, why they have to look after me? And I have my own grandchildren that are the same age. Well, let me tell you about a secret. If you sow a seed now today, you will get gospel tomorrow. But if you don't sow it, you may just get lime or orange. Which one would you prefer? To grow the one that you want or assume somebody else is going to grow the one that you think is best for you? That's just my synopsis today on how to use our finances for our children. And now I turn back to Timothy, who can talk much better than me about finances.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful synopsis of um, a vision you just shared about if at all we are not even thinking that about ourselves, right? As we normally say it, right? A lot of people say, yeah, don't worry about me, I'm okay, I will be fine. But I think one thing that it definitely worth it than anything that you just said today is worth planting a tree, right? Because if we plant a tree today, in the next 100 years, right, uh, we will have a shade for somebody to sit down, right? That shade could be financial, shade. It could be a legacy. Uh, it could be, physical. It could be, spiritual. It could be something that somebody will appreciate in the future. Okay. So appreciate that. And I mean, there's no any other education that is as, as much as that. But definitely we'll still say something today because we want to keep um, talking about a lot of wonderful things about our finances and about how we can really take our finances to the next level. So again, just for those people who might be coming on this show for the very first time or the second time, and you're still wondering what's going on here, this is the Gemfm Money Matters show uh, hosted by Tex Warren, and we have uh, speakers from Creative Financial. My name is Timothy, and I will be your guest today. And to the show. And what I will be talking about today is something we have been talking about in the past uh, 3 weeks, and especially in this month of November, of March. Um, we have been looking into real estate uh, as an investment opportunities to so many people that want to really, build a legacy for their families. And before we move ahead, this show holds every Tuesday and Friday from 12 to 1. Feel free to connect live at any point in time. If you have any question, we will be more than happy to spend a lot of time with you, even outside of the show. Our contact number is right there on the Facebook. If you need any information, if you want to sit down with us, if you have any question, feel free to reach out to Gemfm, or you can call our mobile number directly, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you about more information, more education that can help you and your family to grow financially. Okay. So, as I said, we have been talking about one of the very, very interesting area of financial breakthrough that has to do with the real estate. A lot of people know about the real estate investing. A lot of people have interest in real estate investing, but they don't really know how to get started. Or some people have been doing it and they are not really sure about the strategy they are using, or they want to even scale, right? Somebody have asked me, this question directly before. How do people get 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 7 houses? Just only one person. How do they do it? And the answer to that is that yes, there are proven method, there are proven process, there are proven steps that you need to buy multiple properties and become a real estate investor. In fact, I used to tell some of my clients a rule of thumb: if you can buy one house, that means that you can buy multiple houses. They said, "Really? Are you sure?" I said, "Yes." I said, and the answer to that is, you can ask anybody, that whatever made you to get that one house, you can use it to duplicate that house. You can use that same method to duplicate that house, right? As long as somebody is carrying on the responsibility of that one of the houses at that point in time. So it's as simple as that. Real estate is quite, really, really, simple, but it's not easy, right? That is why you need to talk to professionals, right, at every point in time, to advise us on how to be successful, how to do this endeavor successfully. So, on general talks and announcement, we will talk a little bit about real estate today, which will be the part 3 of our discussion on real estate. When we finish the part 3 of today's discussion on real estate, next month we will come once again with a number of financial education topics, especially most of the financial concept that we want to make sure that everybody understand. And a lot of things that has to do with practicality of investing in real estate. So what does that mean? That means that we are going to show you exactly what you can do, right, in practical terms, that will fit directly, or may be able to fit directly into your shoes of where you are today and where you want to take your real estate investment to the next level. Why are we doing all these things? I am happy to tell you that there is always opportunity out there. I've always been saying it, and there's always an opportunity out there. Even at the current time, there are opportunity. Everybody knows that the market is hot. Don't tell anybody that I'm telling you this. The market is very hot, but there is something that we call spring market. Okay, the spring market is a period whereby the market is picking up. But unfortunately, as the market is picking up strongly, the demand doesn't pick up immediately. So it's a well-known, proven trend in real estate. So I know a lot of people that have been able to get very, very good houses in the past 2 weeks that are really, really, really great, less than 100,000 of what it will have been, or what even some people that are not aware are still buying it, things like that. So we really, really create a lot of value for the people we work with. And what is our value? The value, if I have some time, I'm going to share with you our vision today. Is the value is that, number one, we are very, very concerned about and very, very passionate about your finance and your financial well-being and the foundation of that, of your financial well-being. That is very, very key. But guess what? That is just a piece of the pie for us, right? We want to make sure that you understand all the options that you have in terms of investment and diversification, right? I promised you, everybody, about one great session about the 10 mistakes that we do when we are planning for our retirement. We are going to get to that discussion, but don't forget, I gave you one of the aims. I said one of them is not diversifying enough, refusing to diversify, right? We talked about a lot of things. Somebody asked me the question this week. I said, Timothy, do you invest in Bitcoin, or is it a good idea to invest in Bitcoin? And my answer was very, very straightforward, very, very easy to me, right? And the answer is simply this. If you want to invest in Bitcoin, that is fine, but make sure that you understand your investment objective. That's one. And make sure that you understand and you apply your risk appetite, right? So I told the person, if you have $400, $500, you want to put into something, there is nothing wrong with it, because I have a little bit of a very important information for you. The reason is because there is reward in taking some reasonable risk, right? There is always reward. It's not new. It is always reward. Lastly, before I go into my quick presentation for today, I read an article this week, and I am not able to share it because it's a very, very long article. Very, very long, very, very lengthy. Very, very long, like maybe 17 pages, right? So I wished there's a way I could summarize it. And it's a US origin, okay, article. And what that article says is this. And this ties directly into what we have been saying and why it's very good to have a very strong financial foundation. Education, very, very important. That article says that we don't know in real world terms, but we are currently going through unprecedented times. Everybody knows that. And
at what time?
We are currently going through unprecedented time. I mean, a very different, a strange time that a lot of things are going. And one of them that we are aware of is inflation. Okay. But what we are not aware is that a lot of people don't really know that the Bank of Canada says that the inflation rate is 5 to 7%, but that is on maybe general goods and services. That is on the things the government have control over. Okay, there are so many things that are having an inflation of 30% for sure currently. So what that article, the whole summary of that article is this: if you have any money in the bank for the past 2 years, and that's why I understand the perspective of it. If you have any money in the bank in the past 20 years, the reality is that the buying power of your money is maybe already impacted by 30%, right? Which is actually not an exaggeration, because we understand exactly what that means, right?
Mm.
So an example is a house, right? The inflation, if you want that money. So what they are advising us, right, is that we need to look for where we want to put our money, okay, without endangering our future. We need to look for where we'll be keeping our money for it to be able to grow and meet the future demand. So that is the summary of the article. I was really, really happy to read the article, because it really confirms that to me, that putting that money to sit down somewhere, that $5,000, that $1,000 is not the solution. Okay. So let's talk about something we have been discussing, and I think we will try to move quickly on this, because if I can, I'm going to show you something. If I cannot, then I'm going to show you that at the beginning of our next presentation. So we are still talking about this topic about real estate investing, and one of the things that always comes across my mind is this: investing in real estate is one of the basics of building wealth in North America, because we've talked about a lot of advantage. You can leave a lot of legacy for your children. You can always repurpose your investment to do other things. For example, you have 3 houses, and when you retire, by the age of 65, you sell one of them, and you use the money to enjoy your life and, have a wonderful time. So the topic I want to touch about a little bit today is around real estate financing. So a lot of people may be wondering, right? Yes, I want to get all the good thing that you have been talking about real estate, or I have been doing so, but I need to understand my option about how can I even get to achieve this investment that will bring a difference to my family, and how do I get the money, right? Or how, as I mentioned, that you can invest in real estate without money, but that means that without your own money, right? What are all the things that how we can maximize the leverage advantage in real estate? So that is what we want to talk again. And again, today I want to mention that the purpose of this presentation is to provide us a very diverse understanding about real estate and investment in general, right? So before you take any decision about your finance, please make sure you go through a well grounded process to analyze your needs and financial goals and take the best decision for your family. Okay. We are always motivated because of the Canadian challenges the Canadians and the world they are facing today, and especially at the age of retirement, right? And we want to make sure that Canadians can have more savings and more retirement, plan by going and investing in the right vehicles, by investing in the right place that they should, right? We want to make sure that we have a lot of more better vehicles where we want to invest our money, because the average savings in an RRSP by Canadians today is around 55,000, and 55,000 is not enough for anybody's retirement. On top of that, 67% of Canadians are financially weak. They don't have enough money that will take them through all the retirement if they live long. Okay. Statistics shows that how many? 24% of Canadians don't live above 65. But there are 76% chances that you and I are going to live long. And when we live long, we want to make sure we have that financial security. Okay. So let's start by looking at what are the 5 C's of credit. What is credit? Credit is your credibility to get money or financing, right? To be able to buy a property, to be able to invest in real estate, right? So let's look at the 5 important C's that you need to have in order to be credit worthy. We'll go through them very, very quickly. Number 1, the first C means credit, that shows the lender your repayment history. So this has to do directly with your credit score. People know that, right? Your credit score is very important when you are looking for credit. Let me pause here and just make an example. A lot of people know that it is very important to have a credit score, not because of when you want to even get the big money. Okay, big money means that you want to go and get $1 million from the bank and all that. But even when you need the small money, right? You want to get a phone from Lou Rogers, or an home line, and your credit score is not acceptable, then you will be surprised at, their reaction. So capacity is the ability for you to pay and repay the mortgage, the loan that you are getting. Lender look at some parameter to determine your capacity, in order to be able to pay a loan. For example, I like giving example because this is what we see on the field when we do a lot of financial analysis. So let's say, for example, I make $2,000 bi-weekly, and then I went to go and take a car financing loan, and I went to go and get a new Mercedes-Benz, right? And that Mercedes-Benz is costing me $1,500 a month. Okay, so I am so worried to let you know that if any lender sees that, in your history, they did be very, very discouraged, right? Because you are using that money, but it is not, you are not investing that money. So they are going to look at your capacity in order to pay, depending on your current debt and commitment. The next C is called capital. Is the amount of money that you have to invest. Okay, it is known as down payment. So that is why we said typically in a real world scenario, you need money to invest in real estate. That money doesn't have to be your own. It could be if I and Texman Warren come together and she says, okay, I have money. Oh, Timothy, do you have time to go and get me this property, or you want to help me to look for this? And I said yes. So then there could be any form of partnership, as we said, but there's a need for capital. How much do you have, or how much can you have or get to invest? The other C, which is the fourth one, is the character can be described. What is your trustworthiness to repay loan, right? It is reflected in your credit score as well, and is reflected in some research that the lender can actually do about you to make sure that you are trustworthy, you will repay a loan. And then finally, collateral. What is collateral? There must be some type of security provided to the lender. This is subject to, for example, property, the location characteristics. So for example, when you get a mortgage and you have that $1 million home, which you pay down only $200,000, and the government and the bank gives you the $1 million. So there is a collateral. The collateral is this: if anything happens, that home is there for them to sell. If the bank doesn't have a collateral, okay, that is something that can be used in case anything goes wrong to recover their money, and again to recover as much as they can, then it will be difficult for the bank to loan you that money. And those are the 5 C's of credit. So don't forget, C for the 5 C's of credit is your credit worthiness or your credit history, your capacity to pay, the loan, your the capital, the amount you have to pay down, your character, which is your trustworthiness, and then the collateral of that loan. So let's look at a little bit into your capacity, and we'll move very, very quickly. What are the capacity? In terms of capacity, what counts as your income when you want to take a mortgage? You want to talk about your salary, your self-employed salary, any income, commission that you're earning, bonuses and overtime can help. What about rental income, investment income? So a lot of people say, I am not working, I don't have a job now, will I be able to get a loan from the bank? The answer is yes. It depends on whether you have rental investments or you have any form of rental income that is coming in. And what does this mean? It means that if, for example, I have an investment, okay, it might be a stock, it might be anything that is giving me monthly income, then I can show that money as a proof in order to get a loan. And finally, your childcare benefit, child support, and other things can actually count as part of your income. So that is your capacity to get the loan. So let's look at and even your pension income. Okay, so that sounds good. Absolutely, that sounds good. If your pension income can be, used as part of your capacity to be able to get a loan, but I think it will be much worthwhile if that pension is very, very big, right? So that you can use it for the investment and you can still enjoy yourself, right? So that is why we ask you to invest a lot in your retirement, so that you can still do so many things. Can still achieve a lot. So how do I get started? We have mentioned this in the past, but we just want to bring a little bit of practicality into it. You need to buy your first property. You need to buy one. Very important. So that is the first step. You will have to get, before you buy any property, you have to get pre-approved. Pre-approval means that you need to get and know exactly how much you can afford. So how do you go about getting pre-approved? Number one, you start saving for your down payment. How much do you want? Or start arranging your down payment. Let me use that word because in the past few years that I have been in real estate, I have found out that there's a lot of kids, right? There are a lot of children nowadays that their parents are helping them to buy a house, right? They are helping them with down payment. That is why we are asking you to invest in your children and to invest in your future as well, because you have a lot that you can do if you do so. There's a lot of benefit. Okay, so we can know much when we sit down and we show you exactly how what you need to get pre-approved. But you should know that when you are buying a property of less than 1 million, you need a down payment of 5% of the first 500,000 and 10% of anything before 1 million. Okay, but when you are buying a house of 1 million and above, you need 20%. Okay, so just to explain the practicality of that, if you see anybody buying a house of $1 million, that means that they have actually put down $200,000 as their down payment, because that's 20%, because they need that in order to be able to get pre-approved. You have to maintain very good credit score, ideally 680 bid point plus, but sometimes it doesn't mean that you can't get something if you have lower credit score. We can talk about it if you have any concern or have any question. Let us know. Limit your liability as much as possible, right? What does that mean? I think if you have that 1,500 Mercedes Benz and you are earning $2,000 bi-weekly, I think the best thing for you to do is to go and buy something very, very small, something that will not be more than $500 as your liability, so that you can get a very good loan, a very attractive loan that can help you to invest. Okay, very important. The debt service ratios are used to determine the number of debt you have to divide by your income, right? So that gives a particular percentage which will determine whether you will qualify for that loan or not. So typically that percentage for a debt service ratio, which is called, for the GDS, is 35%, and for the TDS is around typically 40%. We can explain that in details when we come. So understanding your option. This is very important. A lot of people ask, what are my options? How can I take advantage of different programs in order to be able to get loan, in order to be able to get the house? Yes, government has down payment assistance. You need to learn more about them. We can tell you more about them, and they are really, really very useful. Okay, I can testify to the fact that I have used one of those methods before, and they are very, very helpful, especially if you are trying to get the first house. Those programs are really, really good. Closing cost assistance program also available. We have specialized programs for self-employment and foreign people, or people that have foreign income, or new immigrant and low income. All these things are very, very possible. Somebody is just coming to Canada, they can buy a house, right? They just need to know exactly what their option is. Yes, and people that are outside of Canada as well as investor can buy a house in Canada. Okay, yes, absolutely, yes. You have a question?
The market change?
No. If I am in Trinidad today and I wake up in the morning and I said, I want to buy a condo in Toronto downtown, it is 100% possible. The only thing is this. Again, 100% possible, but one, I need to find out how I can get that money to Canada. Is it possible? Yes. Okay. If that is the number two, I need to show that I can prove where I got the money from. Is it possible? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, can I prove that I will be able to pay any commitment in terms of if it is mortgage and so on and so forth? Is it possible? Yes. Okay. So it's possible. However, it is, should I say that it is not easy, because there are a lot of things that need to be done. Okay. Right. Right. Absolutely. But it's possible. How much? Let's explain home equity. So the reason why we put this here quickly is some people have homes today, and they are wondering, how can they take advantage of their home to buy more houses, right? We'll talk more and more about this. But let's say, for example, you have a house and your house is worth around 800,000. Okay. And the mortgage balance, the amount you have of the mortgage that is still owing to the bank or to the lender is 400,000 today. So if you minus the value of your house minus the equity, the money you are owing is 400,000. So you can have a maximum equity takeout. So you can actually take out 240,000, right? Wow, how? That is a percentage of that 400,000 that you have there. So it varies from bank to bank, but you can have a maximum of 240,000. Okay. Real estate financing option. We have discussed all this in great details. So let's move to how to finance your investment. So let's look at what are those financing options that you have. It's good to know, because this is very, very key when you actually want to use all the avenue. We told you want to use all the avenue. So number one, TFS, savings account. Your savings can be very important to get money. Your TFSA, don't forget, we talk about this thing, tax-free savings account. RRSP, this is one of the advantages of RRSP. You can get money from your RRSP, you are contributing, and you can use it to buy a house. Refinancing, if you have a house, you can tell them to increase your mortgage on the house by increasing your mortgage. Then the rest of the money that you have, you can take it out, and then you can use it, have it the cash in your account, and you can use it to buy anything you want. Of course, we advise you to use it to invest. Home equity line of credit. All this information, we educate you more and more about it. Co-investment with family and friends. Do you see that? One of the financing options is to invest with your friends and family, right? Guess what? Most of the people like you and I today have used that method, and they have been really successful using that method, because they took advantage of what the synergy that comes with people coming together and working together and being patient with each other, and they will be able to buy multiple property over time. So that is what we call human leverage, right? They leverage each other. For example, what does that mean? I have just only 20,000, but Texman Warren has 80,000. Now, when we had that 20,000 plus 80,000, that is now 100,000, right? That gives us more ability to be able to achieve what we want to achieve. You can, invest by, sale of property. Something we call seller financing, which means that the person that is selling the house will finance part of the house as well. Okay, so there is what we call money from private lenders. So individual person, is part of our investment option. Let's say that I have money and I don't want to invest it myself, but I want to borrow other people who want to take the risk. Then that is I become a private lender. We have so many people that are doing that today. So whichever method you choose to get started in investing in real estate will take time to learn, to build your team, but don't get stuck on, analyzing. Some people will keep thinking about it. Can I get this money out? How am I going to do it? Just get the right professionals with you, and you will be able to do a lot more. It is better for you to move forward to purchase your first property and make mistakes than never, to have invested at all. Take the right step and take a bold step. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about pre-construction. A lot of people talk about, oh, I want a pre-construction property. Pre-construction is, we will talk in detail about all these things. We talk about pre-construction as an investment option. Pre-construction is when you buy a new house from the builder that will be built over years, and you deposit money to them. One of the benefits of pre-construction is you don't have to pay all the down payment at once. You pay it in phases, right? So when you are buying pre-construction, living there for at least 1 year is very good because it makes you to be eligible for the principal tax resident exemption. So you are eligible for an HST rebate of up to $24,000. So connect with us if you have any of this type of investment so that you can get the right education, right? And you need to secure a mortgage in that case. Okay. What about rental property? A lot of people are looking forward to have rental property, but you need to understand your options and how you go about it. The reason is that when you have when you have rental property, it's subject to capital gain taxes. Your marginal tax rate times 50% of your gain, right? So that is one good thing. If you have a pre-construction and you use it as a rental property, you are also eligible for HST rebate of up to $24,000. Investment opportunity, all expense, mortgage interest, condo fee are tax deductible. It's really, really good. You don't know what people that have rental property are enjoying in the long run with all the benefits that comes with it and appreciation and so on and so forth. But you need to secure a mortgage. That is very much needed when you are buying a construction property. So finally, assignment. Assignment sale is when you sell your contract that you have with the builder to somebody before the completion of the project, right? It may be subject to business taxes, so they see it as a flip. So your marginal tax rate times 100% of your gain. So unfortunately, you're paying a higher tax rate. One thing is that it frees up cash for other purchases or other investment. When you do that, then you have more money to do other investment. And the other good thing about it is that you don't need to secure a mortgage to close the property, right? You don't need to secure a mortgage. And how do you buy a rental property, right? You need, depends on how much you can afford. Rental property income is used to qualify and offset the mortgage expenses, but you need 20% down payment. Okay. What to watch out for when you are buying a rental property? Areas with growth appreciation. What area will give you the most growth? Okay. Cash flow. Is there any cash flow? We talked about the expenses, right, of you having a rental property, because you are going to pay the mortgage, pay the property insurance, pay the taxes, property taxes. The money you are getting should be higher than from the rent must be higher than all those expenses. Okay, what are the rental demand and vacancy rates in that location? Do you have quality tenants that you want to give your house to? And landlord and tenant rights. You need to know what is your right and what is the right of the tenant. Flipping. So flipping is a very interesting real estate investment strategy because a lot of people might have seen this from experience that somebody might buy a house for 800,000 or 700,000, and then they will sell that house again in 3 months or 6 months for 900,000, right? And you may be wondering, how did they know that? What did they do? How did they do it? So they did what we call fix and flip. So they did something in that house to make sure that it's attractive, and they then sell it. Sometimes they can live in and flip. So you move into the house, you get to do what you want to do, then you sell it. in a year or less, so it depends. So how do you do that? Flipping is a very, very, very investment strategy that needs experience. So if you are looking to do this, don't do it without a lot of professionals around you, because it can have its own risk, right? So how do you start? Research your ideal market. Research. You need to know exactly what you are getting into. Determine your budget. How much will you need to be able to execute that project? Confirm your financing options. What are the financial options I have? Do I have money, from my own account, from all those sources that we mentioned, or I want to get other people involved? Okay. And then the last thing is work with professional experienced people like realtors, mortgage brokers, inspectors, and contractors. They will really, really help you a lot because you need their experience. Okay. So finally, things that you need to know. Know your financing option, for both, whether you want to live in or you want to flip and fix. And understand the tax implication. Flipping may be taxed as business income, and business income is about 50%. So I won't talk on that much on that, but before if you are planning to invest, let us know so that we'll direct you to the right accountants to educate you. Renovate, sell, and repeat. All right. What are the phases in real estate? One of the reasons why I love to talk about this is we talked about real estate being a very big leverage. We know that. So, and that is why if you look at this line that I'm pointing to here, is the leverage line. And this one is your cash flow and equity. So when you first of all bought a property, your leverage is very high because probably you took a lot of money from the bank, and your equity, the amount you put into the house, is very small, and of course there is almost no cash flow in the house, right? But if we look at this graph, this is the building phase. So in this phase, your house you keep paying your mortgage. As you pay your mortgage, it's increasing your equity. As the value of the house grows over time, your cash flow will also grow over time. And then when you get to a phase called the growth phase, then you will see that your leverage and your cash flow and equity are almost the same thing, right? Then in the defend phase, then your cash flow and equity will be very, very much larger than your leverage. So the interpretation of this in practical terms is this. If I buy a property today for 500,000 and I put down 100,000, 400,000 is the leverage and 100,000 is my down payment and my equity. In the next 10 years, let's say that house now worth 1 million, right? Then, and my mortgage at that time is now 250,000. So that means that at that time, my equity has grown higher, which is now 750,000, and my down payment, and my mortgage balance, which is the leverage, has now reduced drastically, right? Until I pay off the house completely, right? So that is what it means. So finally, as we close, the idea and the building block for building, a big real estate investing and building a legacy is you will do what we call refinance, buy, and repeat. So it's a repetition process. And I know I was talking with Texman Warren sometime, and she said, "Yeah, I want to buy, sell it, then buy, sell it." So that is the kind of idea that people use to build a lot of real estate investment, because when you buy, you sell, you get some money, you get more money to do more. You know, the gain. If you don't, if you want to build a business, that is definitely a well validated strategy. So importantly, people are sitting on a pile of cash in their primary residence. You have a home today, you might be able to take some money out. Equity in your property isn't working for you. If it is sitting there, make it work out. Okay, so you remember our financial education literacy that says that if your money is not working for you, then you've got to think about it. So that is the same way. If you have money in your house and it's not working for you, then you have to do something about it. So a lot of people don't know. Refinancing is the best tax deferral strategy, one of the best deferral strategy that ever exists. So what does this mean? This means that you can have a house and you have that house and you keep taking money from it as it appreciates and using that money to do other things, and you are not going to pay tax. And that house will be there. In 50 years, you are going to pass it to the next generation. Your children will continue to do the same thing. And you will never pay taxes until maybe probably one day you decided to sell the house. Okay. Short-term versus long-term investment. Investing short-term can be beneficial, but we highly recommend that you look at long-term investing because it has more financial reward and it helps to build more legacy. Okay, so look and watch out for your cash flow and capital appreciation. Which one do you want? There are some people, when they want to invest, they want to be getting income. Like, for example, if you are getting retired, if you are close to retirement, right? We will recommend that you should build investment that will give you cash flow, right? Let's say that, of course, you are having pension, you have an insured retirement plan that is paying you maybe 30,000 in a year. You have other means of investment that is paying you maybe 5,000 in a month. You know, that's 60,000. Then probably you have two properties, right? That is also paying you maybe 2,000 in a month. That is around 4,000. So that is cash flow for you. But capital appreciation is also very important because you want the value of your house to increase, and that gives you a lot more benefit in building a legacy, you know. And that brings us to the end of our presentation today. We know it's a little bit of lot of information that we want to pass out there, but the reason why we are giving you that information is that we want you to know that you need to digest a lot of information, absorb them, and have the right people beside you, even as you plan towards investing in your real estate. So this part three brings us to all the theories about real estate. Okay, so they are all, knowledge that we want to share with you. Anything going forward is we will be talking specifically about strategic way you can invest. In fact, probably one day we may even talk about a specific project, or we may share, with us that this is a project, for example, this is what they are selling, this is what you can do, just to give us some practicalities around real estate investing. So thank you very much, our wonderful host, and we wish everybody a wonderful weekend, and have a restful Friday and a wonderful Friday.
Amen. When you come back on next time, I want us to talk to go back on investing out of the country, because I really thought that you have to be here in order for the bank and to give you a loan to buy a house, because they will check your income, they'll check everything. But when you're outside, how does it work? I know many people have asked that question,
Okay.
and I want to find out. So I want to talk about that next week. Yeah?
Okay, we can talk about it. We can really talk about it. Thank you. We would gather as much information with you, and we will get that information to you. Yes, you can, and we can give you more education about
it. So let's bring in some people so we can have a crew. So people.
Yes. We will. Yes, we will try. Because it's just Monday. We will start talking to them. If we can bring them, then we'll bring them by next week Friday. Yes, but we can for sure. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, God bless you.
All right.
So we come to the end of Great Way Finances, and this is Timothy, and I'm Tex Manwaring on Gemfm. So we come to the end of this program. I'll be back here today again at 2:30. I'm sorry, you're going to be seeing my face whole day on Friday. So I'm back here on 2:30 talking on the Tex Manwaring show, or talking with Tex. Let's see what Tex know and how Tex could talk. So let's talk then. Love you all. Thanks for coming on. Thank you. Bye now. Bye.
All right.